pace picks up towards the end. I mean, the fact is, in the last week of an election, it becomes very clear that the change, if there's going to be a change, is going to happen. Politicians, like footballers, are very superstitious. A lot of politicians, even if they may be a long way ahead, simply won't focus on what happens when they win because they think it might be bad luck. Once the outgoing Prime Minister knows that it's over, he or she goes, a bit of a pause to make sure the cars don't bump into each other in the courtyard of Buckingham Palace. That gap is pretty short. In the case of Gordon Brown, it was about half an hour. And then the Prime Minister about to be appointed comes in.
What the King and the Prime Minister talk about is something no one reveals.
That's the start of a very important relationship as well, because of course the Prime Minister sees the monarch most weeks.
Behind the scenes, when all of this is happening, the political teams are also in operation.
But what's really interesting is how quickly number 10 has to be turned around.
That is something that other foreign states look at us and go, that's crazy.
I'll never forget the late Jeremy Hayward, who was one of the most brilliant civil servants of his generation. As Gordon and Sarah left through the front door, there was a pause, there was silence, and he shouted, "Right, you lot, we've got half an hour to get this place turned round." So people were going around number 10, pulling Gordon Brown mugs off shelves, loading books into boxes. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. And then half an hour later, David Cameron and Sam Cameron arrive, and the whole regime has changed.
Yes, we have seen removal vans outside of number 10 on the day, usually outside the back door, not the front door.
I remember on that Tuesday afternoon in May, sitting in the room that Gordon Brown, his advisor, used, seeing the luggage, all the luggage of the family. There was just something about the brutality of it that is so different from the corporate world, from any other world, because there it is, the living reality that in a short period of time, a family is leaving the place they've lived because the Prime Minister is going to be handing over. Having observed it both from Buckingham Palace and number 10, I'm not absolutely sure that this brutal transition is either necessary or indeed in the long-term interests of any incoming government. Expectations are often very high. I think a little period of rest might be a good idea.
Weirdest royal rumour you ever got approached for comment about?
So, I was staying at Windsor Castle in a room, and it'd been early on, I think it was 2001, and I got a call from Nicholas Witchell, who was the BBC's royal correspondent at the time. And he said, it was about 9 o'clock at night, he said, Ailsa, I've got it on very good authority that the Queen Mother has died. And I thought, oh, golly, not on my watch. He said, I've got it on very, very good authority. I said, thank you, Nick. I obviously need to get back to you. I thought, oh. So I rang the Queen Mother's private secretary, who's in Scotland, and said, Alistair, Nick Witchell, the BBC's royal correspondent, has told me that Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, has died. He said, Ailsa, hold on a second. Ma'am, apparently you're dead. Oh, how amusing.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's a great way of verifying it. No, definitely still alive.
He said, fine, but your father, he's so bloody competitive. The croquet. A, he's competitive, B, he cheats. I just couldn't stand it any longer and walked away. Sir Brian McGrath kept on until the end. He died in June 2000, aged 90, 3 weeks after leaving the office for the last time. Philip wrote a touching and heartfelt letter to the family, which was much appreciated by them. It raises the pertinent question, were they actually friends? Can the courtier ever be a friend? As we saw with Philip's former equerry, Mike Parker, the lines between service and friendship were often blurred. Charlie McGrath certainly believes his father was more friend than employee. He would not have remained in the household had he not been a friend. In his time as equerry, a cross, as he put it, between a companion and a junior private secretary, allowed the Pinkerton to learn many things in addition to how best to judge distance when flicking peas with a fork. Above all, he learned how to be a courtier, and the man he learned from was Gilliatt. He was the most magical man. There's one or two people in everyone's life, aren't there? And he was one of them. He was a very, very good model of actually how to run a household. He did it beautifully, so we all felt thoroughly at home and worked in the same direction. He was brilliant.
My job is to attend every single event that I get my name pulled out of the hat for, and I file it to the rest of the UK press. So that's the kind of UK rota, and that takes up a lot of the time. But what I have to do on the side is nibble around at the edges, find out all the gossip, find out all the exclusives, get some sources, get people talking to me, and that's the real kind of hard part of the job. You do the basics, you go and report, very accurately, very properly on everything the King says to the people that he's meeting tonight at this event at St James's Park. But I'll always have an ear out or spot something that I think, well, that could be a good story, or something's changed here. The King looks different, or he's got a new pair of shoes or something, or that he's said something strange to someone that he might have. An equerry might come up to me and hint that something is happening in the future, and it's those kind of things that you kind of put aside and think, well, I wonder in the future that might be a good story.